And I think one of the things we're sometimes guilty about in YPN and in the sort of community is we talk about the numbers, but we don't talk about the kind of intrinsic reward of actually taking something which we can repackage and put back on the market as an incredible place, someone's home, or a place for someone to enjoy, with those character elements still in them, and having preserved and represented an old building. That's clearly something that you love to do, but not without its challenges. So when you look back at other projects, what can you give some key tips and learnings, and watch out for these landmines if people are looking at older buildings and looking to either convert or represent them?
Yeah, my biggest issue just in general is making an old building conform to modern building regs. And particularly with the increased insulation requirements and the air tightness that they want. My experience is that the building reg officers are quite understanding, but it'd be quite easy to do something that would actually be quite harmful to the building, in terms of sort of not being able to let it breathe properly, because the construction is just sort of completely different. And there's lots of land. Yeah, I personally think that the injection doesn't work. I did it maybe 20 odd years ago. Yeah, it may be necessary for some guarantees and paperwork, but I don't think it works. You have to look at sort of natural ways of getting rid of damp ingress in the building, whether it's French drains, or sort of looking as to where any water can pressurize the building and releasing that pressure, as opposed to trying to artificially stop the water getting in with plastics or injections. And I think it's more sort of understanding the building, rather than looking at modern building regs and saying this is how it should be done, because I don't think it works in many cases. There are the opposite of that, of course, is I guess roofs, where most of the roofs, particularly in old buildings, they wouldn't have any felts whatsoever, and that's perfectly fine. But I mean, people have tried to modernize it or bring it up to building regs with the same covering, but they've put felt there with no vents in it, and that's caused problems. And so you're not going to take the felt out and leave it as it was originally, just with the battens exposed. So you are going to put in breathable felt and the ridge breathable membranes. But I would say that letting the building breathe is one biggest thing. Then I would say is looking at the materials that the building is built with, particularly if it's lime, and it's sort of being aware of what materials you're going to or not going to put next to and mix with lime, and then for how you're sort of going to sort of decorate that, and so on. Floors can be a big one. We've tended to put in a lot of solid floors, where it's not uncommon to see terracotta tiles just compacted onto dirt, basically. So floors, and if they're suspended, I would say most of the buildings we've done, if they're suspended, the ventilation for the floating floor for underneath the floor has been blocked up at some point or another. Floors are always going to be something it's either going to be rot if it's ventilated underfloor, or it's just going to be onto dirt. So that would be one that I would certainly look at if I was getting into it.
Experience is the best teacher, but it doesn't have to be yours. Learn from others' property journeys at ypn.plus.